Alright, so I decided to make this video just to get a kind of look at how the gradable progress and the overall progress kind of work together here. In some classes, you might notice that the overall progress moves pretty quickly right at the beginning, and the gradable progress doesn't move quite as much. So I added this digital photography class because it's a nice example as to what this looks like. If you click on the digital photography class, and as you can see, if we go to my performance here, I haven't done anything in digital photography, 0% gradable, 0% of all activities. I've done nothing so far. So if I jump into this class and begin doing my work, very first thing is it's going to tell me to do the course syllabus, how you be graded, the notebook, and take the quiz. So a lot of this stuff doesn't count for anything. The course syllabus, you just kind of scroll through and check all the information to make sure you understand it. Looking at how you will be graded gives you kind of a detailed outline there. Your Versal lesson tells you how to take notes, just like you've done in all those different classes. You can, and I'll scroll this down real quick, you can mark this activity as complete, which might register as part of your percent. And then I'm going to take the notebook requirement quiz real quick to show you what the percentage looks like after that. So a notebook is required for my class. Yep. Notes are, all my notes can be used in my final exam. 10%. Only take notes, paper, pencil. Watching videos, learn multiple ways, blah, blah, blah. All right, you guys have all done this 100 times, already know how to do that. So I'm done, took my quiz, got an 80%, got one of them wrong, won't tell you which one. Now, if I go to my performance, it says that I have 2% of gradable activities, 1% overall. So now, let's jump into what the rest of the class looks like. As you can see, all these lessons, unit title, summary, objectives, blah, 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 those are all going to be part of your overall objectives. When you get down to anything that has Dropbox in it, certain questions like that are lab questions, Dropbox areas where it's going to jump quite a bit. Now, as I do these, if I get all the way down to, let's say, lesson 7, it might jump me all the way to 12% in my overall progress, but in my actual graded progress, it's not going to do much of anything. Because in a course like this, the gradable progress is going to be the things that are more assessment-like these things down here towards the end. Now, yeah, it's not going to jump a lot at the beginning. It's going to, your overall progress will be high and your gradable progress will be low. But you need to eventually realize that that additional part will jump up. So many of you started off 2 weeks behind because you had the extensions going, so you're going to be probably in the middle of being in these lessons somewhere and not quite to the gradable portions yet. Once you get through these, it's going to jump quite a bit, and then you'll see where that progress comes in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this video real quick, and I'm going to go through some of these lessons and see where I'm at based on those. Alright, so I'm back after going through some of the lessons, and here's what I've got. As you do these, like say you check out the course syllabus, you can scroll through and look at it. It'll give you this little green check mark after you've been on it long enough. Same thing with how you will be graded after you've read it. It'll give it a little green check mark. Versal lesson, same thing. And then you take the quiz. The quiz is the only gradable portion of anything I've taken so far. And then I went into this unit 1, and went through all these different lessons. As you can see, here's unit title, which is just a real quick video. It's only, it basically just introduces the unit. It's a total of 6 seconds. The unit summary, which is again just a very short video. It's only about 25-30 seconds. It gives you a definition. There's nowhere to scroll or anything after that. Unit objectives. Again, another quick video. This one's about 35 seconds. It tells you what you're going to learn in this unit. Then it jumps to lesson 1, where there's some literature to read. In this portion, you'll take some notes, things like that. Very short lesson there. Lesson 2, also fairly short passage about some various different things you can take notes on. Lesson 3, going through some more note taking. Still nothing submitted, nothing graded from doing any of these lessons. There's any quizzes or anything at the end. So lesson 4, same concept, just literature. Lesson 5, just literature. Lesson 6, literature. Lesson 7, literature, and then you get into this reflection, which is a quick video of basically what you covered. These are the questions you want to think about, blah, blah, so on. It goes about another 20 seconds, and then it jumps to text questions, which these are the questions you're going to answer and then submit. So as you can see, I've gotten all the way through 9 lessons to reflect that intro portion here, where the only gradable thing I've done is that notebook requirement. Everything else is just a lesson. Now these things you could have gotten done in, say, 1 day. You got them done in 2 days, and not a lot there. But in a week, I mean, this is roughly about a week's worth of work. Then answering the questions. Once you get to the questions, you can come here and submit your information. Before I do that, though, I want to show you what my percentages were with what I've done so far before I submit that. As you can see, the only gradable thing that I have so far is this 80% that I got on the notebook requirement quiz, and you can see my overall is 8%, but my gradable is only 2%. That only counted for 2%. In some classes, you'll see that this is 17% or so, and that this over here is only a small percent. Later in the class, though, as you get going, you'll see more things that will be gradable. So now if I jump into this, a gradable lesson will be this Unit 1 Dropbox. Now remember, I'm only at 2%, so I could choose a file that I could submit. Let's say I want to submit this thing here, and I want to type some information. I submit it. You have successfully submitted the assignment right there. So now you see this little icon here. Now, mind you, the teacher hasn't graded it yet, but if you go here, now it jumps 4% of gradable activities. Every time you submit something, it'll give you that. So now let's say I want to jump to 12B and submit this, which is another set of questions. And I'm just doing this because I want to show you what it looks like. So here's another Dropbox assignment, and let's just choose a random file to throw in there, and I'm going to submit it. And I'm going to jump here, photography assignment, tells me what to do. Here's where I can submit it. Let's grab a random file and throw it in there. Submit. So as you can see, you have to put submissions in order for this to work. Quiz review, quiz game, I can play the game, and eventually I will get my points. But let's jump to what my progress is at now. Now you can see 9% of gradable activities because I'm submitting those Dropbox things, and as you can see over time, they end up matching pretty well. And in this class, particularly in digital photography, your gradable activities will probably surpass your overall at one point. So as you can see, if you're looking at when you go to performance and look at grades, depending on which form you look at, you can see all the gradable things: Dropbox, 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 quiz, Dropbox, 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 quiz. So these things are, they're all roughly 2%. You submit them and you're good. Everything else is just a lesson leading up to it. Any other classes that you want to go to, you're wondering how that will look. Classes like our new Comprehensive Creative Art or Self-Defense, the new ones that we built, and these are neat because every time you submit something, it's the same as a overall activity. So they're going to match no matter what because we built these classes. If you look at things like, let's say, math, these are going to be a little bit different because each one of these are going to count as, going through lessons are going to count as an overall percentage, and then your post-test is going to count as your gradable percentage. These do count towards gradable somewhat because of their quiz scores, but not as much as, say, a post-test. So then when you look at the overall grades for these, they tend to be relatively close. So 4 and 6, they tend to be close all the way through. And so that's basically it. That's the reason we're following the gradable column for our performance, mostly because, as you notice, when I did this digital photography class, I just entered basic information and didn't update here yet on this page. But I just entered stuff that didn't, I just entered a random copy of my work, and then I just answered random questions or threw random information in there, and it didn't really necessarily, I can't click on this thing, but it does not, or I had to go fix it. I had to hit this button up here in order to get it to show the 9%, but As you can see, my grade is the only thing that won't update until the teacher grades it, but as you can see, my percentage is going to go up immediately as I complete the assignments. Um, Basically, the reason we're following Gradable now, after discussions with other schools that use this program, is simply that you can take a class like digital photography, and I could keep going through lessons all the way through to the end and reach, somewhere in the 90%. And then this portion here, this Gradable, won't move at all. You can actually do that because you can skip the Gradable portions. But we don't want students to be skipping the Gradable assignments. That would be kind of defeating the purpose of doing online school. So that's why we push the gradable portion now, because it's a much more easy way for us to track accountability, whether or not you're doing the work. And so for the most part, as you can see, in any course that I've looked at, they pretty much match across the board when you get going into the course. At the very beginning, there's going to be a gap, especially depending on the class. If they're a class that has this ED next to it, there's going to be a gap. That's why there was the 2% and 9% at one point in this class. In the classes we created, they're going to match pretty well. And then in any other regular core class and certain electives, they're going to be pretty close all the way through no matter what. So I hope that helps. Anybody who has any questions or concerns about what gradable progress is, if you have any questions, let me know.